Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shishi Gornitai ki jai, Krishna Lunch ki jai. Everyone together we chant, or is it call and response? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yutamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So now we read 20 verses together, and then we focus on one. Is that how we do it? Okay. Do I chant an invocation prayer now, Om Jnana, or after I read the verses? I'll chant now, it's okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpa Tarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading from the third canto of the Bhagavatam, This is chapter 10, and this is text number 10. And the title of the chapter is it the divisions of creation? Divisions of creation? Yes. So it's almost like a terrible joke played against me, because of all the parts of the Bhagavatam, as we're going through the scriptures, there's certain parts of the scriptures that we can very much relate to, very, just we understand it to some degree. We enjoy reading it. We look forward to reading it. And there's other parts of the scriptures which don't fit in any part of our brain. Calculation of time from the atom comes to mind, cosmology. So as I was reading through these verses, I was reading them, and it was really like reading a foreign language. I didn't understand anything, because all of us are equipped in different ways. Everyone's an individual. And what's extremely attractive to one person, another person finds it repulsive or can't relate to it at all. So these topics, some of these topics, I've been hearing about them for a long time. Mahat Tattva. Yes, Mahat Tattva. After hearing about it, hundreds of times, I still have no idea what it is. It's the total material energy, something like that. Pradhan is another topic, right? I've heard about it so many times, and I read it, and it just doesn't register what's being said. So that's the verses that Krishna has given me to speak on. And that's okay. That's all right. We do it, some parts of the scriptures, we read it, and we enjoy coming back to it again and again. In other parts of the scriptures, we read it with the conviction that this is tremendously beneficial for me. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't. So we read it out of duty. In our reading groups, we read with different devotees in the morning, and as we're reading through the Chaitanya Charitamrita, what you'll find reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita is that you go through certain portions of the Chaitanya Charitamrita which are very philosophical, tattva, philosophical conclusions, and sometimes it's technical. And then what we find is that at a certain point, that part of the brain which is functioning in terms of appreciating philosophy or technical stuff just becomes filled up. And then very mercifully, the Chaitanya Charitamrita switches and it goes into Leela. It goes into some sweet description of the Lord's activities. And then you're relishing that. So this is natural, to be attracted to different aspects of devotional service and to find other aspects of devotional service challenging, or we don't have a natural attraction to them, if we think about it. And we could ask around the room if it's okay, just like myself. I think about which aspects of devotional service I find to be just, they pull me and I feel inspired. I feel connected to Krishna when I'm doing them. When I think of standing in front of beautiful deities and trying to offer prayers and trying to appreciate the beauty of deities, for me, I feel a very strong connection with Krishna at that time. And if I think of an activity where I feel a very strong connection with Krishna, but it's a difficult activity, it's an activity which requires overcoming the mind, it's an activity which involves austerity, something like book distribution. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to meet people I don't know, and I'm going to hand them the book that they're likely not interested in. But this activity is very pleasing to Prabhupada, and it's very beneficial to souls. And it's how I came in contact, how I was introduced to this precious gift. So there's a challenge, but finally, when I engage in the activity, then I can get into as deep a meditation as I'm able to get into on Lord Chaitanya, on Lord Nityananda, and developing the ability to see Samadarshana with an equal vision souls. And if I think of an activity which for me is very challenging, japa, very challenging. Would anyone else like to share an activity which they find to be very easy or they're naturally drawn to it, and an activity which they find to be more of a challenge for them? Anyone, please. Yes, please.
this is more of a comment. My understanding of the Quran is the total unmanifest material energy. And the Mahatattva is the material energy described like a cloud. Sometimes appears in the spiritual sky, and sometimes it's not unmanifest. And it's unmanifest is Quran. And Prabhupada explained that if you take the Quran as the chunk, and the agitation as the class of the Mahavishnu, then you have to pick them.
At this moment, I have again appreciated the meaning of those two words, and in 1 week, again, they'll have completely escaped my memory. But thank you, Prabhu. It's a nice explanation. Please.
One activity that I feel very connected to is outreach. It's like interacting with newcomers. I really enjoy doing that. I feel it's easy kind of for me, like easy to connect with them. It's something that's challenging for me is doing class.
I'm surprised to hear that because you're very good in speaking. But it's interesting, isn't it? That someone who has the inclination to mix with others, to share Krishna with others, but giving class for them is a little bit of a challenge. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to? Yes, Brandon.
Something that's easy for me would be breathwork that I feel connected to, and something that not so easy, harder to connect with would be singing. I'm still, obviously I have judgmental thoughts about my own singing sometimes. So.
Thank you, Brandon. One more person at least. Anyone would like to share? Yes, Gandhini.
Yes, something easy is cooking for Krishna and dancing for Krishna and all that, and difficult also singing and shapa, those things still, it's like why so long and still, not there. The taste is not fully developed yet, so it's unfortunate, but that's what it is.
I think japa is a common one, isn't it? Japa, because to chant 16 rounds a day, that's not a small task. That's, Vaisheshika Prabhu said, a Herculean task, because the mind is so restless and because very often there's not a strong taste involved in chanting japa. But I just heard something came across my screen, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He said that when we just do it dutifully, to the best of our ability, then Krishna is looking at us and appreciating our effort. And the time will come when he'll bless us with a taste. Because within that activity, which is something that we're not perceiving, is the highest nectar, is the sweetest taste. One of Prabhupada's godbrothers, Akinshana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, he was just always chanting, all the time, just chanting. It said that once a doctor came to check the condition of his health, and he put a stethoscope to his chest, and there was no heartbeat. The doctor literally heard Hare Krishna, Krishna, instead of a heartbeat. That person was relishing the taste of the name, because there was nothing in between that person's consciousness and that person's senses and the holy name. Just like if we go to an ice cream shop, if I might bring and we have a piece of plastic on our tongue. Well, the ice cream is very sweet, but we're not going to taste the plastic. So material consciousness means our senses, our mind, our consciousness is covered. And therefore something that's unlimitedly sweet, we don't perceive it as sweet. But when the covering is removed, then we come to appreciate. And in the meantime, we trust the experience of the enlightened souls. We don't trust our own mind. Our own mind is saying, is there really anything here? Is there really anything in this chanting of japa? I'm not tasting it. I don't get it. I read about it. I heard about it. Where is it? We don't trust our own mind and senses. We trust the words of enlightened souls, purified souls. Okay, let's get on to the verses. So we'll read these together. There's 20 verses today. We'll read them together. Vidura inquired from my, everyone together, right? Yeah. Oh, one at a time. Sorry. Yeah. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, "O my Lord, O greatly learned sage, kindly describe eternal time, which is another form of the Supreme Lord, the wonderful actor. What are the symptoms of that eternal time? Please describe them to us in detail."
Maitreya said, eternal time is the primeval source of the interactions of the three modes in being. It is unchangeable and limitless, and works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of God for his pastimes in the material creation.
This cosmic manifestation is separated from the Supreme Lord as material energy by means of Kala, which is the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Lord. It is situated as the objective manifestation of the Lord under the influence of the same material energy of Vishnu.
This cosmic manifestation is as it is now. It was the same in the past, and it will continue in the same way in the future.
There are 9 different kinds of creations besides the one which naturally occurs due to the interaction of the modes. There are 3 kinds of annihilations due to eternal time, material elements, and the falling of one's birth.
Of the 9 creations, the first one is the creation of the Mahat Tattva, or the sum total of material ingredients, wherein the modes interact due to the presence of the Supreme Lord. In the second, the false ego is generated, in which the material ingredients, material knowledge, and material activities arise.
The sense perceptions are created in the third creation, and from these the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working system.
This creation is that of the controlling these by the interaction of the molecules. Creation is ignorant darkness, and that's for that.
All the above are natural creations by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creations by Brahma, who was an incarnation from the Lord of Passion, and who, in the matter of creation, was a brain like that of the personality of Godhead.
The seventh creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of 6 kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, pipe plants, creepers which have no support, and trees with flowers and fruits.
Of all the immovable trees and plants see if their substance upward. They are almost unconscious, but have feelings of pain within. They are manifested and characteristic.
So if creation is that of the Lord species of life, and they are of different varieties, normally 28. They are all sensitive to this and ignore it. They know your desire evolves by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart.
Teacher, are the lower animals the cow, goat, buffalo, chicken, cat,
The horse, mule, ass, Dora, Sharva, bison, and wild cow all have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about animals that have 5 tails.
The dog, the jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, Sagittarius, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, cassava, etc. All have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as panchanakas, or animals having 5 nails.
The heron, vulture, crane, hawk, basa, baluga, peacock, swan, surasa, castorasra, crow, owl, and others are the birds.
Is it back to me? No. Yeah. Did you already do one? The creation of the human beings who are of one species only and who stock their eatables in the belly is the ninth in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respects.
Oh, good to hear it. These last three creations and the creation of demigods and creation are by Krita creations, which are different from the previously described Prakrita natural creations. The appearance of the Kumara is as well.
The creation of the demigods is of 8 varieties. The demigods, the forefathers, are asuras or demons, like Gandharvas and apsaras. Yakshas and Rakshasas, the Siddhas, Charana, and Gandharvas. The Bhutas, Pretas, and Pishachas, and superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. All are created by Brahma, the future.
Now I shall describe the descendants of the Manu. The creator Brahma, as the incarnation of the passion mode of the first object Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfailing desire in every millennium that enforces the Lord's energy.
And now we'll go to text number 11 and read it together. Yes. We'll do the Sanskrit together, yes? Callers, okay. Maitreya Uvacha Guna Vyatikarakaro Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Nilayasrajat Maitreya Uvacha Gunavyati Karakaro Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Lilaya Srijat. Please chant. Maitreya Uvacha Gunavyati Karakaro Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Lilaya Srijat. Maitreya Uvacha Gunavyati Karakaro Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Lilaya Srijat.
Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha Vyati Karakaro
Nirvisho Pratishtaha
Nirvishesho Pratishtita Purushastad Upadanam Atmanam Lilaya Srijat. Word for word. Together. Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Guna Vyati Kara, of the interactions of the modes of material nature. Akara, source. Nirvishesha, without diversity. Apratishtita, unlimited. Purusha, of the Supreme Person. Tat, that. Upadanam, instrument. Atmanam, the material creation. Leelaya, by pastimes. Asrijat, created. Translation together. Maitreya said, eternal time is the primeval source of the interactions of the three modes of material nature. It is unchangeable and limitless, and it works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pastimes in the material creation. Would you like to read the purport?
The impersonal time factor is the background of the material manifestation as instrument of the Supreme Lord. It is the ingredient of assistance offered to material nature. No one knows where time began and where it ends, and it is time only which can keep a record of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material manifestation. This time factor is the material cause of creation and is therefore a self-expansion of the personality of Godhead. Time is considered the impersonal feature of the Lord. The time factor is also explained by modern men in various ways. Some accept it almost as it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, in Hebrew literature, time is accepted in the same spirit as a representation of God. It is stated therein, God who at sundry time and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. Metaphysically, time is distinguished as absolute and real. Absolute time is continuous and is unaffected by the speed or slowness of material things. Time is astronomically and mathematically calculated in relation to the speed, change, and life of a particular object. Factually, however, time has nothing to do with the relativities of things. Rather, everything is shaped and calculated in terms of the facility offered by time. Time is the basic measurement of the activity of our senses, by which we calculate past, present, and future. But in factual calculation, time has no beginning and no end. Shinakya Pandit says that even a slight fraction of time cannot be purchased with millions of dollars, and therefore even a moment of time lost without profit must be calculated as the greatest loss in life. Time is not subject to any form of psychology, nor are the moments objective realities in themselves, but they are dependent on particular experiences. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami concludes that the time factor is intermixed with the activities, actions, and reactions of the external energy of the Lord. The external energy, or material nature, works under the superintendence of the time factor as the Lord himself. And that is why material nature appears to have produced so many wonderful things in the cosmic manifestation. Bhagavad Gita 9:10 confirms this conclusion as follows. Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyate Sacharatram Ena Yumena Konteya Jagan Harivam.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So time, now that I've whittled away most of the class time and I don't have to speak much about time, time is a form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advaitam, Achutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. Vedeshu Durlabhamadurlabhamapmabhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Who recited that verse? Anyone know? Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma got the revelation from Krishna, and then he recited his song, the Brahma Samhita, which is a perfect revelation of reality. And it's an explanation of the absolute truth. What is the absolute truth? And he says, Advaitam. Advaitam means what? What does Advaita mean? Anyone? Dvaita, like dual. So Advaita, when you put an A in front of a Sanskrit word, it's the opposite. So Dvaita, if Dvaita is dual, more than one, what is Advaita? One. Advaita is one. The absolute truth is ultimately one. Advaitam, Achutam, inconceivable. Advaitam, Achutam, Anadi, without beginning. No beginning. When did God begin? God has no beginning. Ananta Rupam. What does Ananta mean? Anyone? Ananta.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, almost. Yes? Close. Unlimited. Unlimited. Ananta and Rupam means form. So the absolute truth is one, and that absolute truth has Ananta Rupam, forms, unlimited forms. And that's what's unique about the Vedic literatures, is that they are the literatures which are describing the form of the absolute truth. If you go to other traditions, you're going to get some information about God, some information about reality, some information about the absolute truth. But there's not really information about the forms of God or the form of God. One time a preacher was asked, what does God look like? And his response was that no one knows what God looks like because God is so big that you can't get far enough away from him to see what he looks like. So even if you got really, really far away, you'd still just be seeing his big toe or something like that. So this was his conception of the form of God. And then many schools of thought, what do they say? Nirvishesha, that God has no form. Because form, when we think of form, what do we typically think of? Anyone can say. Personality. What else do we think of when we think of form? Sorry? Confinement, limitation, yes? And what else do we think of when we think of form? Sorry? A body, okay, yeah. Material, it's made of material elements, not sounding so promising. Temporary, full of problems, subject to destruction. Typically, they think the absolute truth couldn't have any of those things. The absolute truth must be without all of these qualities. Therefore, they conclude that the absolute truth, God, must be without form, because they can't conceive of anything beyond material form. But why should there only be material form? This is the philosophy of which particular animal, a small animal who sometimes resides in a well, which animal would that be? Dr. Frog. There's a frog who lives in a well, but he's a scholarly frog. And so he judges everything by the condition of his well. What is the condition of my well? That's the totality of reality. Whatever's within my experience, there couldn't be much beyond my experience. So form means like the forms in this world. Well, why? Why should forms be restricted to my own limited experience? So the absolute truth has form, not one form, unlimited forms, because the absolute truth is unlimited, beyond imagination. So not one form, innumerable forms, beyond counting. Just like this one universe, right? There's a sense that, oh, this universe is magnificent and people are studying the universe. But then when you read the Vedic literatures, you get a different view of what this universe is. Oh, it's one amidst many, 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 many universes, innumerable universes. And then you understand the insignificance of this one universe, because we have such an egocentric view of life. In the very beginning of the movement, Prabhupada brought one of his managers into his presence, and he was trying to help that person, that manager, who was extremely intelligent, extremely qualified, to understand what his position was, to give him a perspective. And he said that there's Krishna. Krishna's in Goloka Vrindavan. Krishna expands himself a few times, and one of those expansions is called Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu, he's laying down and he's resting. He's in yoga nidra. He's sleeping. And while he's sleeping, what's happening? As he's exhaling, innumerable universes are coming from the pores of his skin. And when he inhales, the universes are destroyed. So he was explaining that innumerable universes are coming from Mahavishnu. And out of those innumerable universes, there's one universe. And actually, this is a small universe, apparently, because the Lord of this universe, Brahma, has only 4 heads. It's a small universe we're living in. And in that one universe, how many planets are there? Who can say how many planets, how many stars? Asankhya, innumerable planets, uncountable planets. And on all the planets, there's one planet in one part of the universe. And on that one planet, there are how many continents? The last time we counted? 7, yes, 7 continents. And out of all those continents, there's one country. And in that one country, there's so many cities. And in one city, in that country, there is one road. And on that road, there are many houses. And in one house, on that one road, in that one city, in that one country, on that one continent, in that one galaxy, in that one universe, there's one person. And what is that person thinking? I'm very, very important. I'm very significant. So we tend to have that egocentric, anthropocentric view of reality. So we think this universe is something very magnificent and vast. It's one tiny universe amidst innumerable universes. So this is the scale on which Krishna operates. So as he creates millions of universes, he also has unlimited forms. And what is the nature of those forms? How big is God? Would anyone like to share some thoughts? How big is God? Yes.
Bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest.
Thank you. Such a nice answer. Anor aniyan mahato mahiyan. Anor aniyan means smaller than the smallest. Krishna can become so small that he can enter inside of an atom. And my guru used to say that he's very comfortable inside the atom. He's not crushed, not squished at all inside the atom. My guru said he could go jogging inside the atom. Go jogging for a long time, he'd never reach the end of the atom. That's how small Krishna can become. And Krishna can become so huge, like I was just saying, that he's laying down and in his sleep, he's creating the universes and they're coming from the pores of his skin. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan, the form of the Lord. Now here, a particular form of the Lord is being described, the form of time which operates in the material world. And what is the nature of that form of God? Well, it's a very powerful force. And essentially, one of its primary characteristics is that it pushes everything forward. And what's the end line? What's the finish line? A trophy and flowers and a celebration. Is that the end line? That's the finishing line. What is the finishing line? Destruction. Sorry to be so negative. Time. Can we pull up Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter? Yeah, that's it. Let's read a few verses before that. Let's go from verse 25. 11:25. So Krishna is describing his form of time, because people might have some romantic view of time or romantic view of the universe. And now here Krishna is describing this form of his. Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, is entitled The Universal Form of the Lord. Go to text 25. And we'll just do the verses. Let's read them all together in a dramatic way. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter, blazing into your mouths. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths, as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what you're. Hold it there. Don't go to the next verse yet. So he's asking, who are you? He's seeing this awesome form. And Arjuna is, that's a strong personality. He's a powerful Kshatriya on the battlefield. You think Arjuna has a trace of fear? He's in the midst of all this death. He's in the midst of an enraging battle. Arjuna has no fear. But in the presence of this awesome form of Krishna, the universal form, Arjuna is trembling. They said, explain to me who you are. Next verse. Krishna says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I've come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. This is that's it. This is a form of the Lord, an extremely powerful form of the Lord, which is operating in the material world, which pushes everything towards its destruction. So there must be some exception, right? Something shouldn't be destroyed by time. What's the strongest thing in the material world? The hardest substance in the material world? Come on, university students. What's the hardest substance in the material world? Sorry? Diamond. Yes. Close. Apparently, mineral lonsdaleite, a hexagonal form of carbon, and synthetic and wurtzite boron nitride are even harder than a diamond. None of us knew that, did we? And what about these two substances? They can resist time. I mean, you think about a diamond, say, come on, what can destroy a diamond, right? Can time destroy a diamond? Positively. Over a long period of time, time wins out. Time destroys everything. What to speak of all the other fragile stuff that's in this material world? What to speak of the human beings? The human beings, everyone walking around. Human beings we're tiny creatures, tiny living entities. In one sense, we're extremely insignificant. We're insignificant because we're tiny souls. Keshagra shatabhagasya, 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. But in another sense, we're part of God. We're glorious, brilliant, more brilliant than the sun, endowed with all amazing qualities, all amazing abilities. Just like now in this embodied life, we feel, oh, something's missing, we look at ourselves in the mirror and say, oh, I wish I looked different. Someone says, would you like to lead kirtan? No, I'll pass. My voice is not that good. So I don't know how to play instruments. I have no sense of rhythm. Or, I'm reading something about time and I have no idea what's being said. In so many ways, we're limited. But in our perfected state, none of these limitations are there. It's not that you go to the spiritual world and this guy kind of has a good voice, but not really. No. Everyone has a perfect voice beyond description. Everyone's body is beautiful beyond description. Even Prabhupada was describing the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna in the forest, and they're all painting each other with minerals, and they all are there in their cowherd attire. And Prabhupada was saying, the cowherd boys, they are so beautiful. Sometimes it is hard to distinguish who is a cowherd boy and who is Krishna. That's how beautiful the cowherd boys are. So this is our natural condition of life. So naturally, we feel like, well, what am I doing in this situation, in this downgraded situation? So Krishna consciousness is the process of bringing us back to our natural glory, our beautiful existence. I think we're out of time, but I had more to say, but I spent a lot of time with the introduction. So the final statement we'll make is that time is a powerful force which pushes everything towards destruction for everyone, except for the person who uses time properly. That person, time is not pushing that person towards destruction. Time is pushing that person towards eternality. Yes? So how we use our time, that determines what our destiny is. We have choices at every minute. And we live in a world of unlimited distractions. Just like when I was growing up, we had television, but there was a few channels to get distracted with, a few things to get sidetracked by. But nowadays, there's unlimited distractions. So we have to make the choice, the decision all the time. How am I going to utilize my time, my energy? Am I going to utilize it for my self-interest to awaken my glorious nature? Or am I going to use it for something which is not going to bring me any fruit, which is going to keep me in this downgraded condition of life? Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much. I think we're out of time, yes? No time. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Haribol. Govinde Namo Brahmani